So I saw an email come through about a bike ride in Wales, 190 miles, and I thought it'd be a nice little challenge to do. And then I thought, if I'm going to ride that amount of miles, I might as well do it for a cause, right? And I thought, let's raise some money for the London Air Ambulance. The guys who, literally, if it weren't for them, I wouldn't be here.
Emergency service.
The 999 call came in at 08:56.
The ambulance lads came. They all stopped. They're the ones that saved his life that day.
Within minutes of him arriving in the hospital, that's when we'd found out that he'd had this really severe brain injury.
My heart rate had dropped to around, I remember them saying 4 beats per minute. My name's Jordan. I'm a commercial photographer in London. Lived here for 4 years now. And what else is interesting about me?
I wake up in the morning.
I mean, like, it's cringy to say. I don't have any siblings, but he's like the closest thing I've had to a brother.
We have 4 boys, yeah. Joseph's the oldest. And we have James and Jordan and Jamie.
Just normal Monday morning, riding to work like I always do. So I set off from Kind of Water on a normal day, past Kind of Water to Rotherhithe, Bermondsey, going towards the Tower Bridge. And normally, absolutely fine. Just, I know the route very well, traffic's cool. And then, yeah, don't remember much after that.
The 999 call came in at 08:56. We got told that we had a cyclist who's come off his bike, but we didn't know how. Within 8 minutes, the London Air Ambulance was dispatched, and then it took us another 8 minutes to be at Jordan's side. We were actually able to land really, really close to Jordan because there's a park right near where Jordan was. For any patient that when their heartbeat starts dropping to a critical point, we know that they're really unwell.
Then it became apparent very quickly that due to the severity of his head injury, he'd need an anaesthetic to put him to sleep so we could take over his breathing for him and best manage that. We'll accompany the patient to hospital and then hand over to the trauma team.
There was a team of people waiting for him because he was obviously attended to by the London Air Ambulance. They usually give a pre-alert, so they'll tell the hospital that they've brought somebody in and they suspect that they have a head injury. So it's all about usually identifying where the families are. So who is he, where's the people that love him, and how can we sort of find them?
My phone went, and this is the Metropolitan Police, and do you have a son called Jordan? From that point, my heart sunk because I didn't know what the next question was going to be. And he said, obviously there'd been a massive accident in London. Just got on the train and went down.
Obviously they live in Burnley, so it was going to be like a 5-hour journey for them to come down. So if there's any way I could go up to the hospital to see if he's all right. I think that was probably the longest 5 hours of my life, because it was like, if he was gonna go, I can't fathom him going without his parents being there.
I remember meeting them sort of in intensive care, and obviously they were devastated, as you can imagine.
We didn't know what to expect, and
yeah, and then when you walk in and you go through the double doors,
yeah, when you see what we saw,
and then you see,
absolutely horrendous.
It's just horrendous.
I really feel for my mum and dad seeing that.
They were quite frank with us that he's in a bad way, a very, very bad way, and the next 24 hours are critical.
And definitely for those first couple of days, his brain was very, very stressed and really quite unhappy with the situation, understandably so.
And then the extent of it started to come to light. Every bone in his face is broke. And sockets had dropped, everything had, everything was so painful, it must have been. I couldn't think that it was going to heal, all of it was going to heal in the right way.
There was this constant conversation going on about, do we need to do surgery? And the surgery would have been to remove a very large piece of his skull, which is surgery that we really want to avoid at all costs.
You just feel you can't do anything, and all we could do was keep going and keep being by his side.
It's all about minutes and reducing those minutes, and Jordan arrived to us in that medically induced coma, whereas had he arrived, from the roadside to the Royal London Hospital, not like that, we would have been using valuable time almost stabilising him.
When the London Air Ambulance lads came, his heart rate was going down to 4 beats a minute. They were saying they had 3 minutes to get him hooked up to all the gear before Jordan would be. So.
The first question that everybody asks is when is someone going to get better and when are they going to make a recovery? And often, we're minutes into this and we're just saying we've got to really take this much, much slower.
So it's just day by day until he actually wakes up, and then we can see what he's actually left with. And it was awful, weren't it?
And a lot of it is down to the person themselves.
Yeah, she said that.
Because it's up to him. He's got to find the strength within him to get through this.
If anyone's going to get over this, it's Jordan. His positive outlook on life kind of got people through it in a way, because it was like there's no chance he's not going to get through this and fight.
She said it's very, very, very rare we'll get the same Jordan back. And we said, what do you mean, And they couldn't tell us. They said, we can't even, begin to tell you. We can't give you something that might not happen.
Alice said, he won't recognise you. Forget thinking you can walk in and, hey, Mum and Dad, that's never going to happen in a million years. Couldn't get up, couldn't move.
And they were like, it was awful. Just seeing him led like that, weren't it? And we walked in and he went like that to us.
Yeah.
It went to smile, but you could tell he was trying to do something with his mouth. I knew he was.
Yeah.
You just know, and then you forgive each other hugs and stuff, don't they?
When I was coming around, I just couldn't speak at all, just movements. They then give me a A4 sheet to write down what I'm thinking, to let them know, if I know where I am. Apparently I wrote, why am I here? And they'd write where I am. And again, I just read it and was like, I don't understand why I'm here.
I mean, he couldn't swallow and he couldn't swallow his own saliva. And again, it's something we take for granted. And he was just, it was horrible to see because he was really miserable.
She was looking at him and then said, hang on.
Put your tongue out.
Just put your tongue out. And only half his tongue was there.
Sorry about my voice. I'm doing well though. I've been better. I've been a lot better. But to get through it and not be paralysed, oh mate, it's mental. I'm very lucky to be alive right now.
Thankfully there was no damages to the spine, so I could walk again and move like I did used to.
I remember really early on walking into the intensive care unit, and Mum and Dad were there, and there was another guy, and he was sort of slightly smarter dressed, and I said, oh, hello, and they said, oh, this is Jordan's boss, and I was like, wow, a lot of people's workplaces are very supportive, but coming and sitting there is a completely different story. There was photos almost immediately around his bedside of who he was, the people that were important to him, and that's just, it's so, so important, because you're not treating the person in the bed, that's who you're treating.
All right, cut.
Yeah. We miss you. Come back.
Come back.
Come back. You're my favourite photographer. And I really miss her singing.
Princey wanted me to tell you, never ride a bike without a helmet. He never goes anywhere without his.
Ideally, they wanted me to stay in hospital for a bit longer, but because of the whole COVID, they had to rush me out.
You only get scared once. You only get scared once.
But they said to me it could take months to a couple of years to recover from such an accident. I just had to practice speaking again with my mum. I had to have tongue exercises where I'd put it to the left and to the right. So I spent a lot of time in Burnley. I do remember I asked at work for some retouching so I can just practice. So they sent me some retouching to do, and I just every other week just practiced to see how much I could do, like the fatigue in my brain. And I could only do 10 minutes.
His job was a huge focus for his recovery, and that was a huge problem for me actually, because trying to convince him actually you need to take a step back, because I want you to be 100% at your job 50% of the time and not just sort of 20% crawling from one day to the next.
But I think it's Jordan's determination to get back to the Jordan he once was. It was that determination what did it, and his courage and everything else.
When I was in hospital on the bedside, I remember tapping Mum on her arm, like, Mum. She's like, what, lovey? I'm going to buy a new bike. I said,
No, please, don't get a new bike. He said, no, Mum, I have to. I want to and I have to.
Like, I don't want you to ever ride a bike again, you know?
I don't know, it didn't put me off riding a bike again, thankfully. I was just so determined to get up and do, if not better than when I used to ride a bike before. I'll point to it. Do a little. I just love it. The London's Air Ambulance is a charity and not just a public service or part of the NHS. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? You guys aren't funded?
For it to be a charity is just crackers. I mean, I pay every month now to the Air Ambulance. They just do so much and they do it so well.
He wouldn't have been here today if it weren't for the London's Air Ambulance. It wouldn't have been.
There's no bigger job than saving your son's life and keeping him on this planet.
The key thing is the London Air Ambulance at the beginning of the process. You know, they have an incredibly important role in ensuring that somebody gets to hospital. Many years ago, that wasn't the case. You know, people didn't survive because they didn't get to where they needed to be.
It's my goal now to raise as much money for them as possible and to keep going, because I owe my life to them pretty much. I hope that if I can spin my legs a little bit, maybe 50 miles or 190 miles to raise money for them, then that's my part I'm doing. Let's do it. I'm not having a great time doing it. When it's tough, it's like, I've got no energy left, I don't know if I can do this. I think to what Mum and Dad saw, and that's really where the energy comes from. That second gust of wind just comes from. I just look up to the sky and I'm just like, wow, I'm back.
Come on! Powered by gratitude, man! Oh, I fucking love it! Quero saber. Yes. Wow.
I reached a place where I was like talking to myself, deep. I thought about everything. I thought about my family, Mum and Dad, and how the fuck I'm still here. It's mental. It's mental. It just touched me, man. It just touched me. I was just like, I died that day, and I've come back. I've come back better and stronger. I'm fucking buzzing. A thankfulness and a gratitude to the people who were there saving my life. The team at London's Air Ambulance, all the team at the Royal London Hospital in Whitechapel. family, I'm thinking all the time, just grateful for them. Friends that I've got here, great friends. My work colleagues, my work friends, all these people were crucial. Many more bike rides to come, I think. Now I know I can ride a bike again.
You only get to do it once.